I remember Grandpa sitting on the porch with a coffee cup, talking about the Reds and how they'd never give it up. He said, son, they won't come with tanks or flying flags so bold. They'll sneak in through the colleges and turn the young hearts cold. I laughed and called him crazy, said those days were done. But Grandpa looked me dead in the eye and said, boy, it's just begun. It ain't just talk no more, it's happening right now. The slow takeover is walking through the town. They smile and call it justice, they march and call it peace. But Grandpa warned us, Lord, and the warning never ceased. I remember Grandpa sitting on the porch with a coffee cup, talking about the Reds and how they'd never give it up. He said, son, they won't come with tanks or flying flags so bold. They'll sneak in through the colleges and turn the young hearts cold. I laughed and called him crazy, said those days were done. But Grandpa looked me dead in the eye and said, boy, it's just begun. It ain't just talk no more, it's happening right now. The slow takeover is walking through the town. They smile and call it justice, they march and call it peace. But Grandpa warned us, Lord, and the warning never ceased. How the Communist Party USA's out passing out their signs. Party for socialism and liberation's right there in the line. Freedom Road socialist organizations funding every bus. Revolutionary Communist Party stirring up the fuss. Revolutionary Communists of America running with the crowd, all coordinated, organized, and screaming extra loud. They're behind these No Kings rallies from coast to shining coast, paying for the buses, printing signs and posting every post, while the blue-haired kids are yelling and the beta boys applaud. The real bosses in the back are laughing hard. They hate this country's freedom, they hate the stars and stripes, but they love the megaphone and all the camera lights. They'll call you every name if you dare to push back, say you're a fascist for flying the American flag. They cheer for Maduro, they cheer for the mullahs too. Love every tyrant as long as he hates me and you. While red states keep on working and paying all the bills, blue states keep on spending and wonder why they're ill. It ain't just talk no more, it's happening right now. The slow takeover is walking through the town. They cheer for Maduro, they cheer for the mullahs too. Love every tyrant as long as he hates me and you. While red states keep on working and paying all the bills, blue states keep on spending and wonder why they're ill. It ain't just talk no more, it's happening right now. The slow takeover is walking through this town. They smile and call it justice. They march and call it peace. But Grandpa warned us, Lord, and I pray to God we don't fall asleep. Yeah, Grandpa warned us. Lord, I hope we finally hear him now. Sights and sounds of Earth. The sights and sounds of Earth. The sights
Hello, everybody. Oh, what a day. I'm glad everybody's here tonight. I don't know how long I'll be able to hold out here. It's a very sad day here. I'll get back to that in just a minute.
In 1775, the shot heard round the world. Farmers and blacksmiths stood up against the greatest empire on earth. From Lexington Green to Concord Bridge, they answered freedom's call. They left their plows and took up arms so tyranny would fall. They fought at Bunker Hill, they froze at Valley Forge, crossed the Delaware on Christmas night with Washington in charge. 250 years of stars and stripes unfurled. 250 years since freedom blessed this world. From the blood of patriots who gave their very all, we became the shining city, standing proud and tall. God bless America, land that we hold dear. 250 years, let the whole world hear. They signed the Declaration in 1776. We hold these truths to be self-evident, words that still give us chills. No king, no crown, no divine right could ever rule again. For all men are created equal, with rights endowed by him. Through Yorktown's final battle, Cornwallis laid his sword down. The British marched in defeat while freedom bells rang out. 250 years of stars and stripes standing for what's right. But victory brought new trials under the Articles of Confederation. A weak central government left the young nation shaken. States fought over borders, debt piled up high. The Union was crumbling, about to say goodbye. So in 1787, in Philadelphia's hall, 55 brave men answered freedom's urgent call. They wrote a constitution, a miracle in its time. 3 branches of government with checks and balances designed. They added a Bill of Rights so no ruler could oppress. Freedom of speech, religion, arms, the things that made us blessed. They gave us a republic if we could keep it strong. A shining experiment where right could conquer wrong.
Ooh, I didn't realize it was going to be this difficult tonight, guys. I'm sorry. I don't want to come on here and be all blubbery. Nobody needs to see men cry, right? I came home today and he can no longer walk. And so we're going to go in the morning and put him down. This is his last show. Man. Whew. Shit. Here we go. There you go, buddy. I tried. Okay, yeah, so in the morning we're gonna go do what we have to do. You know, he's been through so much that I kept thinking in the back of my mind, maybe he could pull through this, you know, maybe this is something I can get him through. But some things are just beyond your control. And this happens to be one. He has no idea. He looks in my eyes and he has no idea what we have to do tomorrow. Okay, yeah, he's about 13. And he was outdoor quite a bit of his life. He's also had a very traumatic injury when he was younger. That's how we got to know him. and it's just it's tough right now. I need to get through this because if we're going to do a show, I need to get it together. I thought I'd got it all out earlier, but apparently not. Yeah, I don't know how long I'll be on. I'll be on for a little while. I want to go through the news with you guys and the tropical storm and all the bullshit that's going on out there in this messed up world. He seemed really weak when I left for work today, and I kind of had a feeling when I got home it would be that he would be at that stage. That's kind of the signs they give you. A couple days ago he kept wanting out. He wanted one out, and when I brought him outside a couple times, and he would head for the gate. He was leaving. That's what cats do when they're dying. They leave the pack. They go away to die. And so I wouldn't let him do that because his end is going to be a lot better than that. Oh boy, it's so sad. He can't even stand up at all. He's just lost his energy so fast. Anyway, there's not much else to say. You guys already know about him. I've already started a post about his life, which I'll post probably sometime tomorrow. All right, so let's talk about the news. You guys know that douchebag Fauci, right? Yeah, well, they're still finding out that this guy, he was so far involved in this whole thing with COVID, and they knew this came from that Wayun lab. They knew that it came from.
Senator Rand Paul.
They know that it was from that from all the research that was being done there. And they knew that these people knew, but they wouldn't tell us, right? I mean, that's pretty much the bottom line. And they got Fauci up there now, but, he's pardoned, so he can never serve. He can never pay for what he's done to us. All that bullshit, overreaction, false information, lying about the origins, lying about the spread, lying about the source, lying about the efficacy of the vaccines. This man should be in prison. Yeah, Beard, I know I know that cats can rally back from quite a bit, but I think this is end of life. I don't think it's something he's going to be able to beat, because we've been fighting this for 4 weeks now. And every day he's weaker. Every day he's worse. He's still eating and drinking. He ate dinner laying down because he can't stand up. But he still ate. You can't lay on the keyboard, buddy. I don't care how bad a shape you're in. Oh, you're standing up. You standing up? Hey, buddy. Hey, he's standing up. Yeah, Fauci should be in hell. And yeah, some of this research started here and was moved there. There's truth to that. Thank you, Suncat, and thank you, everybody, for all your kind wishes in there. I'm sorry that you have to see me in such a disheveled manner. But I'm not going to just call out sick because I can't handle something or whatever. Okay, there's a bunch of different stuff. Trump is going to go Wednesday. Tomorrow, Trump will be attending the dignified transfer of the remains of the fallen U.S. service members. And so this is something that some presidents do on occasion. Trump tends to do a lot. He truly does feel responsible for those guys. He cares about them. The Iranians, they're literally down to the choice of, do they want to spend their final days fighting a useless, hopeless battle in the desert? Is that what they want to do? They just can't bring themselves to chill out. They just can't bring themselves to find a better way forward. I don't understand it. I'm having a real hard time with it. I don't know why they don't. I don't know why they don't capitulate, but they do. Though this is how they operate. They come back and they say, "Hey, we're fine. We're going to go ahead and we'll sign the peace treaty. We'll do this. We'll do this." And then it's just so they can rearm and then start fighting again. That's the bottom line. Anyway, here's the headlines. U.S. CENTCOM carried out the latest wave of strikes against the Iranian military targets at 9 p.m. Eastern Time on Monday. Lebanese President Joseph Aoun will met with the president today. The U.S. has been mediating talks between Israel and Lebanon. The Israeli Defense Forces have been pushing back against aggression from Hezbollah, an Iran-backed terrorist group in Lebanon, in recent weeks. The U.S. service members in Jordan were killed last week during the Iran-linked attack, U.S. Central Command said. A third U.S. troop was killed in Iraq on Saturday. President Trump said that the U.S. will be striking Iran's Pickaxe Mountain, and probably pretty soon. President Trump also said that the U.S. will just have to take care of business now if the Iran-backed Houthi rebels and Yemen impose a blockade on the Red Sea. Iran, they push right up to the point of annihilation, and then they back off just enough to get us to turn the key back off again. And then they push themselves right back to annihilation again. This is what they do. They've done it for 47 years, and it's not going to stop. So he just needs to keep right on going with what he's doing here. War Secretary Pete Hegseth revealed that the war in Iran has cost an estimated $37 billion so far. Iran's top joint military command said all U.S. interests and those of the allies in the region would be targeted if Washington attacks Iran's nuclear facilities. So that's a big threat. I love it when we're fighting somebody that can't attack us directly, so they're just going to attack whoever they can reach. But like I said, that's a third world country with 6th century mentality, and that's what you get. Here, I'll get it. I'll get it. His scratcher don't work anymore. I got it. Did I get the right spot? His leg just flops like this. It doesn't really scratch anymore, so I have to scratch for him. I don't think we're going to use any nukes. Thanks, Carlotta. Glass bowl the whole damn place, according to Carlotta. Well, you know, I'm always the guy that reminds you of the innocent civilians. But at some point, you do have to take care of business. I hate to say it. And people say, well, but the United States has never purposely bombed civilians before, really? Tell the people that in the capital of Germany about 6 days before the end of the war. We were bombing the piss out of those civilians. It happens. Of course, that was a different situation in a much different time, and I understand that as well. But don't say it never happens, because in war, all is fair. But Trump, being the guy that he is, he doesn't want to bomb power plants. He doesn't want to shut off people's air conditioner. He doesn't want to kill innocents. And so it's important. General Dan Kane
Raisin Cane, as he calls them. Total lawmakers on the Senate Appropriations Committee that advances in artificial intelligence and increasingly coordinated adversaries are reshaping the face of modern warfare. The Pentagon identified a fourth U.S. soldier believed to have been killed during the attack on the Mawaf and the air base there in Jordan, days after U.S. Central Command. You okay? You're standing up. You okay? See, he's going to start walking around, and I'm going to have a real hard time with tomorrow. If he can still walk around, I'll give him a day or two. I'm not in a rush to do this, but if he can't walk, it's over. You know, I mean, how long do you keep a cat around when he can't walk? You know, and any cat that's gone down that far is not coming back, I don't think. Lambert, you can never rule out something like that. All right, so that's where we're at with that. That's the latest. I'm not going to belabor it very long. I do want to get to the storm. We do have a tropical storm out there. Please, folks, if you're one of these people that like big hurricanes, this is not going to be it. All right, I'm just being honest. This is bullshit. It's going to be some crappy little tornado, or a hurricane. I mean, but it's just it's really not showing kind of what we would expect to see. I don't know. I do think there's a possibility this thing could surprise them a little bit, and keep its 50, 60 mile an hour sustained winds into landfall, which I think's what's going to happen. Yeah, we're okay on the fleas right now. We've you know, he's got a collar on just because I want to make sure he doesn't get any, but he doesn't have a real flea problem. Trust me, fleas tear him up. If it was fleas, I'd have to get him off. I'd have to bathe him or something, because that could make him anemic. But that's not the problem here. It's something internal. Something's quit. He's probably gone diabetic. That's what happens with these older cats. That's what happened to my Scooter. Big old huge black cat. He went all type 2 on my ass. And we gave him all kinds of stuff for a while that was helping, and we got him for another year, but he finally, his body just started getting like this, where he couldn't hardly walk and stuff, and we had to put him down. So I don't know if that's what it is, if it's adult diabetes, which is something that takes out a lot of cats, and or it could be something else. I don't think it's his kidneys. He's peeing and there's no blood. So I think it's... I think he's just shutting down. I think he's reaching end of life. That's what it is. It is. Nobody likes it. You know, I don't know what to do. I've got stuff going on Thursday, so I either need to do it tomorrow or Friday. I'll make that choice in the morning, but I think it's going to be tomorrow. Yeah, LD was 30 pounds. LD, we call him Little Devil, LD. And another cat that... lived a wonderful life with me. He was about 17 or 18 years old. What's wrong, buddy? What's wrong? Oh, you want me to pet you more? Okay. He's like, hey, you stop petting me. He came up last night. You see, he jumped off to bed, and he seemed to do okay last night. He went and used a litter box, and then he came back to bed. I was awake when it happened. He's standing up right now. You want to go litter box? Okay, all right, there you go, buddy. Let's see if you can make it over there. There you go. There he goes. He's walking. I can't get my hopes up, though, guys. It's just... Yeah, he's peeing right now. He's peeing. I don't understand. I mean, he's still doing everything that a cat does. Okay. You okay, buddy? I got plastic next to the litter box with litter on it. And the reason I did that was because he can't get in and out of the box anymore. But he's in the right spot. He's walking. He couldn't even get up earlier. Of course, he had been sleeping while I was at work. Old cats get to where it takes them a minute to wake up. Yeah, he's eating. I'll feed him again. I've already fed him once today. He laid down and ate, but he ate a whole plate of his favorite Friskies mixed grill. Yeah, he's eating, he's drinking, he's pissing, he's crapping. He's doing the 4 things that cats do well. Well, the problem with vets, and let me tell you, I love vets and I hate vets. Let me tell you, it's a love-hate because any hope of saving this cat is lost because of my financial situation. Every cat I lose, it's one of those things where we could probably save this cat, but you don't have a lot of money, so okay. And we'll just put him down for you. My Scooter had diabetes. I could have given him a shot every morning. He could have lived 5 more years. So that weighs on me that it's because of my financial situation, because I don't have disposable income to spend on my cats. No, I'm not asking for any donations tonight, please. I'm not. I've got this covered. Trust me, this has been going on for a month, guys, with Daddy. He's sitting over there. He's sitting up now licking himself. I may wait till Friday if he's still functioning. He's got to tell me when it's time. No, it's okay, guys. I'm serious. Because it would just to diagnose him would take $600 or $800, and there's a really good chance it's nothing they can do. He doesn't have an infection. It's not urinary tract. This has been coming on for a long time. He started about 2 months ago getting fluid in his eyes, getting gooey in his eyes and stuff, and his lungs have been full. He's just been suffering. He's old. He's an old man. He feels like I do in the morning. Yeah, so I'm going to... He came in last night when he got done with his business at 2 in the morning. I heard him kind of crawled / jump back up on the bed, and he walked right back up there and curled up next to me, right next to the pillow. That's where he's been sleeping the last 3 or 4 nights. They get real clingy right near the end. Yeah, they become spooners, if you know what I mean. Right before the end, they really like their people. Yeah, no, I believe very firmly in the afterlife. I'm a Christian that believes in reincarnation, so I got this shit covered both ways. But I believe that that his soul, he has such a good soul, and I'm not gonna be able to talk about it too much tonight without getting all weird again. But his soul is different than most cats. I mean, I hate to quote Bill Shatner here, but of all the souls I've met, his is the most human. All right, let's get back to the news. I knew that was going to fucking happen. Let's see here. They got Nick Shirley back up there again testifying, and he's literally defending what he did in Minnesota. He finally told him, look, guys, convictions don't lie. These Democrats are literally trashing Nick Shirley because he went out and found government corruption and brought it to us. Think about that. This man, this YouTube journalist, this person that does what I and so many other people do, bring you the truth outside the mainstream media. And here he is, having to defend his honor. He's not quite climbing a water tower yet, but he's up in D.C. right now defending his honor. He went and found this fraud. He went there and found the Leering Center and realized what was going on. And so it really upsets me that he's getting really grilled. He's getting a bunch of shit from these Democrats. Has anyone asked themselves why Democrats like fraud so much? Oh, that's right. They're right in the middle of all of it. I forgot how they're always right in the middle of all of it. They love the bad guy. That's right. The left always loves the bad guy. Yep. All right. We have a great vet here. It's North Fort Myers little animal hospital. It's about 10 minutes from my house. The prices are reasonable, and they take care of us. They've got a candle in the front, and when they put a pet down, they light that candle. All right, let's see what's next here. Brown bear attacks woman hiking with friends and 3 dogs. You know, there's something about dogs. You know, almost every human bear attack, they're walking a dog. They don't like the dogs. I think they attack because of the dogs. Not that the dogs did anything wrong. I'm just saying it does seem to be that people walking dogs get attacked at a much higher rate. You know, anyway, we'll see what happens. Let me look at this. Cracker Barrel sells Maple Street Biscuit Company, closing 16 locations. So I didn't even know about this, but apparently Cracker Barrel owns a property called Maple Street Biscuit Company. It's a business, it's a restaurant. The Southern Country themed chain said Monday it sold the Maple Street brand and assets tied to 35 locations to Biscuit Belly LLC. Cracker Barrel will close the remaining 16 Maple Street restaurants and discontinue them completely. In a separate move, Cracker Barrel also completed a sales lease-back deal involving 26 company-owned locations, generating roughly $77 million in net proceeds. The company plans to use the money to pay down debt while continuing to operate the restaurants by leasing the properties from the new owners. I hope they're not in trouble. Ours stays pretty busy down here still. I love Cracker Barrel, and I'm still mad at that woman for what she tried to do there. These efforts reflect the discipline we bring to managing our business. Yeah, right, whatever. Don't start with this corporate double-speak shit with me. Our sales leaseback transition will allow us to opportunistically reduce debt. Shut up! All right, so anyway, Cracker Barrel continuing its slow slide to hell. Unfortunately, I really love that restaurant. They got really good cornbread, really sweet southern cornbread. It's really good. Yeah, Bertha is. We're going to go to that right. Well, I've still got it on the screen. Let's just finish it up. Sorry, guys, I'm a little scatterbrained tonight. This is the rainfall outlook. Look at this, the rain staying offshore. Why is the rain staying offshore? Well, let me pull up my Epic Pin, and I will show you guys. All right. What's going on right now is this thing's cut off. It's completely cut off, and it's being sheared off. And I'm going to show you guys here in just a second, right here on this view, what is going on. Okay, so let me pull up my Epic Pin here. All right, so here is your center of circulation right there. Moving west, maybe just slightly north of west. Okay? Why is all this on the south side? Because there is horizontal wind shear that is coming down, and it's pushing this entire storm. It's pushing that. This is in the upper levels of the atmosphere, okay? The lower levels are pushing towards the west, but the upper level atmosphere, the wind shear part of it, way in the upper levels of the atmosphere, is pushing down on this thing, and it's pushing all of the central dense overcast and all of the rains and everything are being pushed off, and so only very little bits of it are actually under the dense covering there. When let me clear this. This is the winds coming around like this, and you can see that big ball there. It just keeps getting pushed off in that direction, and it can't quite finish the loop up here. It just can't quite make it happen. If this were to wrap all the way around, we could see a brief hurricane possibly, but it's not going to happen. Yeah. You're anywhere along the Gulf Coast, you could see some winds. We've had some breezy conditions here, but I bet you the highest we've gotten is maybe a 10 or 15 mile an hour wind. So, hey, Daddy, you want to come back over here? You want to come back over here? He said, yeah, but I don't know if I want to walk all the way back over there. Yeah, that when they hired that DEI woman to be the CEO, and the first thing that crank did was go and hire a DEI specialist that worked at Disney, you know, the DEI capital of the world. And so she went in there with her little friend there, and they for those that don't remember, they were going to completely gut the restaurants, all of them, every single one. They were going to take all of that memorabilia that's been in those restaurants for years, all the old gas signs, all the old sleds, the bobsleds, all the old, I don't know what's up there, guys, old signs and different kinds of containers and boxes and milk jugs. They were going to take all that stuff off the wall and then put up pictures of that stuff. Yeah, I know. It's like, what? It's like we're trying to soften this somehow. You know, what they were trying to do, I'm going to be honest with you. You can quote me on this. They were trying to de-redneck it. They were unrednecking, whatever you want to call it. They were literally trying to make it look more like a First Watch or something instead of a Cracker Barrel where rednecks go to get their country fried steak and cornbread. And that's what they've done. And but guess what? It didn't work. It didn't work. They ended up only doing 2 or 3 of those restaurants. And from what I understand from the writing that I've read, they've put them back. So that's interesting. All right, so I hope Cracker Barrel keeps going. I love Cracker Barrel, but we'll have to see what happens. All right, so anyway, back to the storm here real quick. All this keeps getting pushed off. So what's going to end up happening? Where's this thing going to end up going? Well, it is going to go into New Orleans. It is going to hit pretty close right in through there. It's going to go pretty close to New Orleans. I think they're going to get some of the wind there. But look at this, guys. This is we're going to tropical tidbits now. And here's what I want to show you, the intensity modeling. There is one model that brings it to 65 miles an hour and one model that brings it up to 75 miles an hour. However, most of the consensus of the models, which is usually where we go, the consensus shows a weakening here. You know, each time we go, every 12 hours, it's weaker, and we see that downward trend. How do I get that big old circle on there? So, you know, that's a fairly good downward trend there. But these models up here think that it's going to miss Louisiana. They think that it's going to stay out in the open water. So we'll have to see what happens, because obviously if it does, the longer it stays out over the open waters, you know, the worse it could become. This one here, the consensus takes it just offshore. This is kind of a worst case scenario, but remember, it's a small storm. If this was a Cat 4 or 5 doing this right now, we would see another Katrina-like event up there. Okay, but however, this is a very minor storm, 996 millibars. So it is. These models are expecting a little bit more strengthening as it comes on shore, right there at the mouth of the Mississippi. And then it's going to travel right along the coast, possibly on the coast, and then exit again over here before it finally makes a landfall in Texas. And almost all of the models are, whoops, I clicked the wrong one. Almost all the models are holding firm to this. This one here, the consensus on this one is about the same as the last one. That it's going to stay right along the coast. And that's going to prevent it from becoming very much stronger. This one here, a little bit more aggressive modeling. It goes all over the place, but yet still, the general consensus is still the same. It shows it making a run on Mobile and then coming back out and going over the Delta. So I'm not sure, but that's another interesting one there. But that's the three main ensembles. And let's go ahead and look at windy.com. This is current. And let's take a look. There's the Euro, and this is the current view. So let's take this forward just a little bit and see what happens. They're looking for it to move basically due west. Notice how slow it's moving. Every time it jerks, that's 3 hours. And then finally coming on shore, right there, coming on shore, right, if you look here, coming right into the mouth of the Mississippi, right there. That puts Slidell and Lake Pontchartrain on the right, and it puts it going right over New Orleans proper, and it puts Grand Isle and Port Eads on the left. So again, if this was a major storm, we would be worrying right now, but we're not. All right, let's go to the GFS. This one here has been a great performing model. This one doesn't think it's going to do shit. This one actually has been downplaying this one all along. And look at this. It shows it coming in, but it's basically just a surface low when it gets there. I talked to dispatch earlier. He's fine. He'll be in. He had a bunch of stuff going on. All right, let's see here. Icon. The icon, current position. And then let's run this forward and see what it tries to do with it. Again, a very weak storm, not showing much in the way of wind. This one takes it down, going over the Delta there, and then it's going to go right back up and right through New Orleans proper. But again, kind of washing out as it does. Here's another one, the HRRR. Let's take this one and let's move it forward. There we go. And it is showing also a landfall. This one's being a little more aggressive with the winds, showing some 47 mile an hour winds offshore there. And then finally, let's see, let's do this one. Has this one got anything for us? You know, this one didn't work yesterday either. All right, and here we go. This is the NAM. This is another one. And this one is definitely more aggressive. This is showing some 70 mile an hour winds, almost to hurricane force out there. So this is definitely one of the more aggressive models. And taking it in there and then keeping it south of the beach, keeping it just off the coast, keeping it developing. Hey, Ed, what's up, buddy? All right. So there we go, guys. That's your 6 model runs there, and that's where we are. Right now, it does not appear that we're going to have a hurricane. I think that's pretty much off the table. There will be surge. I think surge may be part of the big story on this one. The storm surge up to 3 feet anywhere it's blue, up to 4 feet anywhere it is yellow. And remember, you've got tides, surge, and surf. So if you're in an area that gets surf, like right along a big river, or right along like Lake Pontchartrain, or right along the Delta there, along the bayou, This is going to go pretty far in. This could actually inundate pretty far into the bayou. And it's gonna all get up in there. This big spot right here, that's Lake Pontchartrain. I've been there a couple times. Huge, beautiful place, big long bridges and stuff out there. And I was in Slidell about a week after Katrina went through, and we called it Stick Town because every house was gone. It was just the sticks sticking up. That was all that was left out there. So as this comes through, this area in yellow is going to be potentially on the right side of the storm. Well, why is that important? Well, even on a small storm like this, where you are in relation to the storm is fairly important. If the storm's right here, which is about where it's going to be when it's offshore, your winds are going to come around like this, okay? And that's the direction that the storm surge is going to be coming in. Okay? So when you get an area like this that's shaped like that, it traps the storm surge up in there, and it ends up pushing up into the swampland, and it ends up inundating neighborhoods and everything else. So how bad this is going to be, I don't know. At 4 feet, most homes should be okay. But there will be street flooding, and there will be quite a bit of saltwater intrusion up into the bayous yet again, because this is going to sit. Now, it's going to sit for a little while. That's important because the longer this thing sits out here, the longer all this water has to pile up. And if it were to go more up here, then you're only dealing with flooding up here, and this area down here would not be affected because it would be on the other side of the storm. However, in the same vein, if the storm goes further south, we could actually see inundation all down here along the delta too, because of that onshore wind coming in from the east. All right, so there you go. That's probably the biggest threat from this storm, and the biggest threat from most storms is the storm surge. And so that's what we need to be watching out there with this one, is the storm surge. Where are we at on water temperatures? Well, Tampa was 87. It's now down to 85. We were 88, now down to 87. We have seen a degree or two fall here. Why? Because of the extra cloud cover. When a storm comes through, especially bigger storms, they tend to have a big, huge, what they call a central dense overcast. And this CDO is basically an area where the sun is not going to reach the water that much. So then the storm churns up the ocean as well. Those two things have an effect on the aggregate sea surface temperature. Yeah, that smile that Memdami puts on, it's disgusting, isn't it? I hate that freak, man. I don't normally say stuff like that, but he's literally the enemy. He's in the gates, and he is trying to take over our country. And he doesn't care that he can't be president, because in his world there isn't a president. I'm going to go get Daddy in a few minutes. He's laying over by the door. He kind of wants to go outside, but I think he's kind of too weak now to walk off. Houston hit 100 today. There you go. It's very hot here. My room got up to 80 degrees today here. And because it gets the afternoon sun on this side of the house. And when I got here and started setting up for the show, I was sweating in here. It was hot. Now my air conditioner's caught up in the last couple of hours, and it's not so bad right now. Yeah. Gulf of America. That's right. Yeah, if I slip and call it the Gulf of Mexico, you guys have to remember we've called it that for 50 years. So just cut me a little slack there. All right, so let's shift gears now and move over to the radar. And let's take a look What do we got going on out here? Oh, well, we got a locked up radar. Let's get rid of that. Let me pull it back up again. Yeah, if he's still walking and talking here, I'm probably going to wait till Friday. I just can't put down a viable cat if there's a chance. All right, guys, this is where we've got a real situation brewing right now. We are in West Virginia. That's right, West Virginia, near Elkins. I have skied right where this happened. I've skied in Timberline. I've skied in Snowshoe, and I'm trying to think of the other one. It was 3 different ones. And it's all right up in this area. We used to stop at Elkins and buy our beer on the way up the mountain. So there's Elkins to the right there. What we got going on right here is a flash flood warning. This is a damage threat catastrophic. Flash flood observed, particularly dangerous situation. That's pretty much all the National Weather Service's buzzwords right there. This area that you see in this pulsating purple line here is in a dangerous situation. They've gotten so much rain there in the last 48 hours that their rivers and creeks and streams are reaching flood stage. Yeah, well, it's definitely the Gulf of America. You got to remember, the people in New York are very liberal, and they do what they're told. Remember, conservatives fall in love with their candidates, liberals fall in line. It's a lot different situation. They voted for him because that's what they were supposed to do. They're more like sheeple than you believe. They really do what they're told. What they're told by the teachers' unions, what they're told by the Communist Party, the Democrat Socialists of America. Isn't it funny how you put the word Democrat in front of socialist and suddenly it's good? Really? What if I put the word fun in front of murder? Would it be okay? Fun murder. It was a fun murder. No, see, that doesn't help. It doesn't help. As long as the word murder's in there, it's no good, right? What about happy murder? No, that doesn't work either. Well, it's the same thing with this. If you put the word socialist in it, I don't care what words you put around it, okay? You got to remember, the Democrats, they are the ones that always rename and rebrand everything. Remember, killing babies in the womb is called women's health care. Yeah. They're the ones that change the name of everything to make it sound better. And this is just another one of those. We're not going to put freaking commies taking over your country. We're the Democrat Socialists of America. We're of America. We're just like you. And we're the Democratic Socialists. Democratic Socialist means we get to vote on what they do. And it's like, I think that Democrat socialism is great because we get to vote on what they do. And I just realized I don't even have the radar up for you guys to see. You can tell I'm really screwed up tonight. This is that area where the flooding I've talked about for 10 minutes. This is the area where the flooding's at right here. West of Elkins, West Virginia. We've got all kinds of flood warnings up there. All these yellow ones are flood warnings. That purple one is basically a much higher flood warning. They've done everything but issue a flood emergency, which is the highest one they can issue. All right, so there you go. Sorry, I was talking about something and you couldn't even see it. My very scatterbrained tonight. They don't understand socialist, communist, fascist, Maoist. I mean, they couldn't describe it. And what's funny is they'll tell you they went to classes to learn all this stuff, but yet they don't understand any of it. No, this is a two-party system. Anytime you think a 5 or 6 party system would work better, go check out the UK and see how it's been going over there. They sit around in Parliament, sitting right next to each other, throwing shit at each other. All right, it's Nothing ever gets done there. It's turned into an absolute quagmire. They've got communists taking over several of their parties there too. We need to. I don't believe in a 3 or 4 party system. This country works best because it's a 2-party system, and because you got right and you got wrong, right? You got the good guys and the bad guys. That's kind of how the universe works. You got the good guys and you got the bad guys. Somebody has to wear the white hat. Whew. Yeah, now I like some H. Ross Perot. He used to come in there with some charts and graphs. He'd say, now, I'm going to tell you guys something in America, okay? You got these charts and graphs here that's going to show you how you can't do it no more. Y'all going to die. You can't do it like this no more. That's Ross Perot. And yes, I agree with you. I liked H. Ross Perot. I actually believed that H. Ross Perot was basically if Ronald Reagan was a businessman. You know what I mean? Does that make sense? I'm telling you, do you know what H. Ross Perot was? The precursor to Donald Trump. He was when the country's like, we keep electing these politicians. They don't know how to balance a damn checkbook. Okay? And so what we need is a guy that's run a successful business. That's why I'm very big on my Senator Rick Scott. I love that guy. He's a businessman. He runs it like a business. And that's why Trump has been so successful. He got in there and he runs everything as a business decision. He doesn't make command decisions. He makes business decisions. And since our country is the world's largest corporation, I think it's important that we run it like a business, like a corporation. And so, yeah, I was a big H. Ross Perot fan. He wasn't going to win. I didn't vote for him. But had I thought he could have won, I probably would have. But it was more important to try to keep the Democrats out. Because a vote for him wasn't going to win anything. But a vote against the Democrat was important. He was correct about NAFTA. He was correct about a lot of things. Yeah. He foretold a lot of the shit we're dealing with today. Yeah, West Virginia has a very interesting political system there. There's a lot of people there that have been there a long time, and they do it the way they do it. And so that creates some weird political situations. All right, so what else do we got going on? Let's take a peek here. Look at this mess that they call the weather around the United States. Let's take a look just at the outlook here. You guys can see the only area is right here where I'm cursoring. It's going to be actually above where my cabin is there. It's going to bisect Tennessee and North Carolina, and it's going to go all the way up and get most of West Virginia and also southern Kentucky. This whole area has a 2 out of 5 tonight. That's a 2 out of 5 for severe weather. Look at the spaghetti models on this thing. More and more and more of these models are taken to south. I gotta comment about this. We're seeing more and more of these models go further south. Look at this. There's more and more of them further south. In fact, look at this. You got an outlier here taking it into Mexico. And then you've got all these other ones. Hey, buddy, I'm mousing with that hand, okay? What happened? What's going on? What's your ear bothering you? What's going on? Oh. What's going on in there? Oh, no. I got to get some eardrops for you. Maybe I'll talk to them about that tomorrow. My goodness, are you all right? I'm not putting you down tomorrow. Forget about it. I may put him off a few days if he's still walking around. Uh, yeah. Oh my God. Uh, Whatever, D Beard. That's the way it always works with these corporations. I've heard so many bad things about this man that's done so many good things for our country. So it is what it is, man. You know, we all have our opinions, and whatever. I don't get into the whole corporate conspiracy thing. It's business. It's how it works. You know, capitalism is like anything else in the world. Okay, there's a good side and a bad side, and you just hope that the good side outshines the bad side. And with all the good he's done, I don't care what he did. I really don't. He has been an amazing senator. He's very good about cost cutting, and I think it's very important to have business people working in there. That's the only reason I brought him up, was because he has spearheaded a lot of really good legislation that comes from a business point of view, a business sense, and that's why I like him. It's real easy to demonize these medicine companies. I know I do it too. Yeah. So anyway, all right. And you know, it is what it is. If there was anything chargeable there, they would have charged him with it. So, all right. So here we go. That's what nationally it looks like there. And you can see really not a whole lot going on. Currently, some severe thunderstorm warnings. This is the worst one right here. This one's going to be in, well, it's just southeast of D.C., and it's moving off to the east. This is going to... It's gonna be up on Cambridge here before long. Easton, you're about to get even more. You've been getting trained on. Yeah, that's the thing. Trained on. That's a hell of a storm coming in there. You can see the lightning in the camera there. All right, so anyway, there we go. They just issued another severe thunderstorm warning out ahead of this mess here. Looks like it's mostly south of Annapolis, and it's mostly south of Dover. Just heavy rain in Dover. But areas south of that, you're going to get some pretty heavy rain and storms, including Salisbury and Ocean City, as I'm told it's called. Yeah, Ed has the loudest voice, I think, of a cat I've ever had. I had a couple of girls that had big, loud voices. Ziva Lynn and her mama, Mama Kitty. They both had really loud voices. But Ed yells at me. I stopped the other day out in front of the gate, and I walked down to the other side of the property to talk to Stephen, who lives here as well. And I'm down there, and we're just down by the pump house there talking. And all of a sudden, I hear this cat screaming at me. And it was Ed. You know what he wanted? He wanted me to shut up and come home. Because he wanted fed and he wanted pet. So he's literally like standing on the other end of the yard yelling at me to come home. Yeah, guys, I'm going to be honest with you. The whole healthcare industry's jacked. It's terrible. I couldn't afford health insurance if I want to. I actually work for a health insurance guy. He's one of my private clients that I do production work for. He tried to get me a healthcare account. And even just a catastrophic care with no dental and no optical is $700 and something a month. I can't afford it. Therefore, if I get cancer, I die. So, you know, the whole thing's a mess. The insurance companies are a mess. The healthcare companies are a mess. And even right down to the hospitals are a mess. It's just ridiculous. They got all this wonderful care, but it only gets to half the people. And what's funny is if you're an illegal, you can usually qualify for a program that will give you advanced care. But as a regular American, I don't qualify for any of those programs, so I would die. Yeah. Yeah, Clinton did a lot to the healthcare industry to screw it up. And, of course, Barack Obama irrevocably damaged the insurance industry with Obamacare. And now, yeah, that's D Beard. That's my rule. I'm trying very hard not to get that. Yeah, it worries me a little bit. Mom survived it. Dad died from it. So yeah, just a little concerned. Yep. Yeah, they don't care about. I sometimes think these healthcare places would rather you just die than actually find out what's wrong with you. All right. Anyway, let's not dwell on all that bullshit. All right. So here's where we're at. Out west, there's a bunch of just rain. These are all flood watches out there. There's really no. These yellow circles here. These are flood warnings. These big circles are flood watches, but I don't see anything else going on. Just rain. And then down here, I turn these things on, and now I don't know how to turn them off. Is it in here? I don't think so. No, it's not in there. I turned these spaghetti models on the other day, and I can't figure out how to turn them off. It's in here somewhere. I thought it was under map settings, but I couldn't find it. I don't know. I thought it was in here. I love this radar, but there's still a few things I'm not sure how to use. So, I don't know. I'll figure it out, though. All right, so anyway, we've got a tropical storm warning up for most of this area here now. And a flood. We've got tidal flooding warnings that have gone up. Surge warnings. You know what's funny? I mean, you know, I'm sitting there watching a loved one in pain in the hospital. And I'm like, you know, she should have had this pain medication an hour and a half ago. The nurse finally comes in. I'm like, are you going to give her the pain medication? Because she's overdue by 90 minutes. And the nurse says, yeah, I'm going to give it to her. I'm like, okay, you know, yeah, okay, thanks if you get the freak around to it. So then I watch her fiddle F around with everything in the room. She fiddles around with this, she fiddles around with that, she signs into the computer, she pulls this thing out, she runs out, comes back in, she scans this thing, scans that thing, because the most important thing is to scan it, that way you can get charged for it. Okay? It's funny, but when you're laying in the hospital, it's literally like you're laying in a supermarket. Boop, 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 boop. They're scanning everything they can charge you for. It's ridiculous. And Yeah, I don't know. It's a little crazy. I've had loved ones in hospitals in the same system. And in one hospital it's really, really bad, in another hospital it's really, really good. It all depends on what floor you're on, what head nurse you've got, whatever. But the one we had her in Gulf Coast. We try not to ever bring her back to Gulf Coast. That's our new big trauma center and everything, but I would go there after work at 7 in the evening, and lunch and dinner were both still sitting there, and none of the containers had been opened. They would not put the food in front of her and open the containers for her. They would just sit the tray inside the door by the sink and walk away. And when I complained about it, they're like, well, you guys need to be here to help feed her because it's not up to us to feed her. We don't hand feed patients. Said, if your mother can't eat on her own and you guys aren't going to feed her, we'll put a stomach tube in. And I looked at her and I said, you're a nasty woman. Where's your supervisor? I had to go up the chain on that one. I finally ended up in the administrative office filing a formal complaint. Then we go back 3 more times to the same system but a different hospital, and they're great. I mean, Tony Tiger great. And so it depends on who you get, you know. I don't know. We won't go back to Gulf Coast, though. We don't want nothing to do with Gulf Coast Hospital. We go to Lee downtown campus or Cape Coral. Yeah, I can only say good things about hospice care. We've got a place here called Hope Hospice, and they're the best. They're the absolute best you could ever ask for. They provide a very dignified end for our loved ones. Yeah, well, we were already, whatever. They don't seem to really care much whether you're actually like in pain or not. You know what I find interesting? You go to the hospital, everything they do that supposedly makes you better hurts. Everything they do. There's very few things in the hospital that they do to you that does not provide you with some additional level of pain that you have to deal with. And I think if our healthcare industry really cared about us, they would work on providing the services they provide without all the goddamn pain. Because I get sick of it. Every time I go to see a doctor, there's pain associated with it. And the things they do to people while they're still awake and conscious is crazy to me. You did some hospice care. That's cool. Yeah, a lot of doctors and nurses give a day a week or whatever to hospice. Yeah. Well, and a lot of times the tests to even get to the procedure are evasive. And sometimes just getting in the ER is evasive because they've got to start lines on you and all this. And I know a lot of it can't be helped. But they love orifices in them places, too. If they find an orifice, man, there's a tube going in that sumbitch. All right? They literally will search you up and down for any orifice that they can shove something in. But I get it. I'm not putting them down. It's how it is, you know. I just think that all of the stuff that we do out there for healthcare does not address some of the major problems we have, like phobias of doctors. You know, a doctor acts like nobody has a phobia of doctors. Do you know people have true phobias? People die in their home having never gone and gotten care from a doctor. Why? Because they're scared of them. Because every time they've seen one in the past, they've hurt them. And so I think they should be treated. Same thing with dentists. I go into a dentist to get something done, and I pass out. I can't. I can't. I just can't. But our healthcare system doesn't deal with this. They don't deal with this at all. They don't even counsel you or talk to you about these phobias and fears of needles and doctors and white coats. And I really think that if we want to truly address one of the biggest healthcare problems in this country, it's the fact that doctors and nurses, a lot of times, on purpose or not, are so off-putting and so scary, and everything is so painful, and they don't ever explain anything to you. It's all a big mystery involving your life and your death, that people just get this phobia. I get nervous. I'm sitting in a doctor's office, right? I'm not even getting a shot. I'm in there to get some antibiotics for a tooth or something, and I'm sitting there shaking. Why? Why? It's stupid. But it's a fact, and it's a fact that our healthcare industry literally pays zero attention to. When I go to Aspen Dental and I tell them, look, I need a few things done here, and I want to get a partial plate here or whatever, I go in, I'm just being honest. I go in, I talk to them, and I said, now how do we do this? Because I'm just coming in here to talk to you about this. I'm shaking right now. How do we do this? You're going to go in my mouth and yank teeth out and move things around and all that. How would I ever come in that day? Every time I make an appointment in a dentist, I end up sitting in the parking lot and not going in. I can't. I was a firefighter. I crawled in burning buildings for a living. I chased tornadoes and hurricanes. I do the craziest things, life-threatening things, dangerous things. Yet the thought of that man going in my mouth and pulling a tooth out it makes me sick to my stomach. And what do they do about it? Nothing. There's two kinds of people. People that get their teeth fixed and people that don't. They don't care. They couldn't give a shit that I have problems. I go in and explain to them. They're like, well, if you get the nerve up, let us know. This is part of healthcare. Part of healthcare is getting healthcare to the people that need healthcare. For Christ's sake. There is a couple dentists in town that do sedation dentistry. It's way out of my price range. It's thousands of dollars for the sedation, and then I have like nightmares about that because I'm going to wake up and whatever I'm left with is what I'm left with. Looking for orifices in all the wrong places. I know that song. Let's see here. Yeah, I don't know. All I know is doctors need to start to give a shit about the whole patient and not just the one thing that they're there for. We need to get to the point where we recognize the fact that we've got a lot of people that don't get health care because they can't afford it. They don't get health care because they mentally cannot go in there and have that done to them. You know how many times I've been told I need surgery? Any idea? 6 times I've been told I need surgery, or I'm going to be irrevocably damaged, or I'm going to die. Never had surgery. Gallbladder. I've been told 3 times if they don't take my gallbladder out soon, it's going to explode and kill me. That was 7 years ago. My gallbladder is still there. It hurts every now and then, gets a little inflamed every now and then. I back off on the grease every now and then. But having your gallbladder taken out is also the #1 most overprescribed surgery. My mother went in. They told her she had to have her gallbladder out. They took her gallbladder out. They missed something. She almost died. Sepsis from shitty surgery that wasn't done right. And so after that happened, I decided I'm dying with this gallbladder. If that's what kills me, so be it. Yeah, I mean, I need something like that. I don't know. But I guess what I'm trying to say is I'm not down on the healthcare industry, really. I understand that most of the healthcare industry's problems is other things like government and insurance and regulation and all this. I understand that. All I'm saying is I just wish that doctors would put a little more time and care into realizing the reasons why people don't get the care they need. Why do we have people dying of cancer and they never went in and even got diagnosed? Because they're scared of doctors. And when you ask a doctor, how many, because I've actually done this, doctor, how many patients, what percentage of people out here do you think need care but don't get it because of a previous bad experience or because of white coat syndrome or some kind of phobia? And they're like, oh, I doubt that's a thing at all. Ding, 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 you're wrong. It's a huge thing. It affects millions of people, especially with dental work. There's something about eyes and mouths. There's something about that really freak a lot of people out. Yep, Singwin, I believe in that 100%. As a matter of fact, I do not mourn for my cat's soul. My cat's fine. I'm crying because I'm losing my cat. It's a selfish thing with me. The cat's going to be fine. He doesn't know anything. He's looking at me right now down there because he knows I'm talking about him. But he doesn't know. He doesn't realize, oh, I'm dying now. I'm going to lose out on the next 3 years. I'm not going to see my grandchildren. Those are things we think about. Cats don't think about that kind of stuff. To him, it's just another day. Wow, look, I'm weak today. You know, and tomorrow will be another day. And if it happens tomorrow, he'll go to sleep and his spirit will move on. And he will be at peace. So, I mean, I actually feel really good about that process. I am 100% sure of the afterlife. I ran a paranormal research team for 6 or 8 years. And I'm convinced that there's an afterlife. Convinced. I actually believe through all of my studies, I ended up that reincarnation has some truth in there. And that there's ways for spirit to communicate with us. And I believe in all these things. And I'm comfortable with that. I don't feel bad about, you know, like the cat's spirit not going to heaven or anything like that. I don't worry about stuff like that. That cat has a great soul. In fact, like I said earlier, of all of the souls I've encountered that are not human, his was the most human. Of all the cats I've ever had, he cared about all the other cats. He never fought. He raised all the little kittens. You know, he has a great soul. And I think he might be like a master soul. He may come back with a really great life next time. So he went through a lot of hell in this life with the broken leg and everything else. Yes, there is time where you can see, I do believe, a lot of people with near-death experiences witnessed what was going on in the room. I've only had one story to really tell on that, but I was confronted. I was approached by a woman that I did CPR on one time, and she walked up and gave me a hug, and she said, "You did CPR on me," and she remembered me. She was completely dead when I got there. We brought her back, and they pushed all the drugs on her, and we got her heart going again. And I rode into the hospital, And I did chest compressions on her all the way in the ambulance, all the way to the hospital. And I kept talking to her the whole time. I had just taken a class, and they said that even a patient in cardiac arrest can still hear you. And they said you should encourage them to live, encourage them to come back to us. And I did. The whole way there, I did it. And when I got there and I walked outside, and I'm sitting there kind of almost in tears, just overwhelmed by everything, the medic walked up to me, and the medic goes, you know, he goes, I don't know if you're crazy or not, but that woman might live. And he goes, I think it's because you talked to her all the way to the hospital. I said, yeah, I think it's important. If we want to live, we have to try to live. And we're smart enough to understand, like cats can't, but we can understand. We got to fight to live. And I kept telling this woman, you're not dead yet. You have to fight. You have to fight to live. Think about it. Breathe. You got to do it. By the time we got there, she was in, she had a rhythm that was producing a pulse. And I was just breathing for her when we arrived at the hospital. And I got to meet her later. And she remembered me because she saw me. She even knew what truck we drove there that night. It was the little red truck. And she pointed right at it. She knew it was the squad. Sometimes we go in the engine, depending on our manpower. So I'm very comfortable with the afterlife. And I'm very comfortable that my kitty's going to be okay. It's more sad for me because I just, I don't want to see him go. It's the last sense that go is hearing. I talked to my dad even while he was dying. We were talking to him. My dad does what everybody else does. He was in hospice. My mom was there. I was there. The rest of my family had gone home for the night. And I told my mom, I said, I will stay up with him. I promise you I will stay up with him. And I put her in, there was like a pull-out bed. I put her in bed, got her all tucked in, and I said, I will watch him. And if there's any sign that the end's coming or something's wrong, I will wake you up. And she lay down and went to sleep. And I put on a Stargate episode on my laptop. I can still remember it. And I sat there holding his hand right next to him. And every few minutes I would lean over and I would tell him something, that it's okay to go. It's okay to go. You're done here. The mission's over. And sure enough. Hey, come here, buddy. Come here. What you doing? What you doing? Boo-boo, come here. Oh, there's my guy. He walked back over here. I may give him a few more days. As long as he doesn't seem like he's in pain. He doesn't seem like he's in any pain. He's not showing any of the normal signs a cat shows when they're in pain. He's just a happy-go-lucky guy. Aren't you? That's right. Oh, I'm going to miss this guy. Yep. It's hard because they don't live, they don't live as long as we do. If you want to get you a bird, a sun conure or something, it'll live to be 100 years old. But the longest a cat's going to live is 20 years, maybe 23 on the outside. I had one that was 22, and I had one that was 21. And I had one that was 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, or 6 that were 17 or 18. So we're not going to get quite that much out of Daddy Kitty, though. You going to sleep, buddy? Oh, that's my boy. We're going to sleep over there tonight in the bed. That's right. Oh yeah, our soul is it's interdimensional, and it goes. And whether you use the Bible's explanation or the Buddhist explanation, or there's all kinds of different explanations, or whether you're into the actual incarnation, reincarnation stuff, um, it's all the same thing. It's all the same thing. We have a soul, and that soul goes on. That soul continues on. Isn't that right, buddy? Yep. Well, I wish that was true, Canna, but I still got a big old cortisol belly. Maybe it has helped. I don't know. Oh. Hey, Lion, the Lone Silencer. How you doing? It's kind of a sad night. Daddy's not doing well. He's going to probably, either tomorrow or Friday, we're going to have to put him down, I think. There's always the outside chance he pulls through, but he's really, really not doing good. I got emotional earlier. I got home from work and he could no longer stand up at all. But then once I worked with him for a little while, he's now been walking around again. Yep. He's a good boy. He never was much on being held, but over the last month, if I want to hold him, he'll just let me hold him as long as I want, pretty much. Yep, I was a firefighter for 17 years, and I also did some dispatch work. I was an auxiliary deputy sheriff for 8 years. On my department, I worked my way up through all the ranks and ended up being the chief of the department for the last couple years. And when I left, I had had enough. I couldn't do another minute of government service. I loved it. I love my department. I love my coworkers. I love my trucks and my stations. But you know, the honest to God truth is it's still government, and none of it works worth the shit. It was always the unions and the infighting and the commissioners getting on for their personal gain. All that stuff happens everywhere, guys. The corruption goes on everywhere. And even in my small department, there was a lot of corruption. There was a lot of corruption everywhere. And it was disheartening. And I decided to get out while the getting was good. They offered to buy out my retirement, and I took it. Well, the Lone Silencer, if he rallies, I'm here for the ride. I've got plenty of his food here, and we will continue to try. But again, if I get up tomorrow morning and he's just completely not able to walk, that's going to be the day that I take him. So whether it's tomorrow or Friday, I hate to go past Friday because it's a lot more expensive on the weekend, and I really don't like to go to that other vet. I like to go to my vet, which is only open during the week. I'm very particular about one thing. My cats get sedated before the euthanasia medicine goes in. I'm weird about that. Every now and then, an animal will panic when it happens. And I've seen it happen once with a dog. And I can't do that. So I pay the extra, and I have them completely sedated. So they're completely out of it when the medicine that stops their heart goes in. I know they can, Canna, but I can't afford that. That triples the bill. I would love to just do it here so he doesn't have to go through the trauma of a car ride and all that. I could probably get the ketamine from one of these drug pushers around here. Just kidding. Well, not really. He's completely asleep. Like I said, I'm really partial to my vet. I want her to do it, so I'll bring him there. Just so you know, when they're like this, I don't put him in a cage. I'll carry him just like this. I'll wrap him in a towel, and I'll carry him just like this while I'm driving. And I will drive to there, and I'll carry him in just like this. When they're not struggling or they don't have any struggle left in them, I'm not putting them in a cage. I'm not going to have their last experience be through a caged grill. And this is sad, but I hold them just like this while they're doing it. They always put the needle in the arm, and then they wrap the arm, and then I pick the cat up and I hold the cat while they do both drugs. There's just something about that. Canna Club, I really appreciate that, and I guarantee it would work too. But the thing is I've got a great vet that's less than 10 minutes from here. I've already contacted him. I'm going to bring him there whenever it's time, and we're all set to go. He's good. I don't think any amount of care can save him. He's failing. Yep, and then this place they put him in this wonderful little bags they've got. They put him in, and they go down in this bag, and then it wraps all around them and ties up. And then I bring them home, and I put them in plastic, because in Florida, I literally will have to sit him down in water. The water table in my yard is 1 foot below the surface, and so I use a couple of plastic bags, and then I seal them really good to make sure that that he's sealed up in there. And then I dig about a 3-foot deep hole, and I'll put him in there, and I'll fill it up. That's what I do. I've got every one of my animals buried here in this yard. Young progressives are starting to use the term blue MAGA. And I take offense to that shit. Roddies. Yeah. There's probably 20 cats in this yard, and 4 or 5 dogs, and a smattering of birds and squirrels and raccoons and whatever else died here. If I find it instead, I bury it. That's what I do. I've already got a spot set up for him. Alright, let's see what else there is real quick before I go. I need to get going, I guess. I'm too emotional to be on here. I hope they get Fauci. I can't stand that guy. All right. Oh, big stretch. Oh, big stretch. There's my boy.
Yeah. Here, it's getting a little warm. You want me to put you down? Here, I'll put you down right here next to Ed. There we go. There we go. That's not so bad. He's the one cat that none of my cats have a problem with. I can sit him down right on top of any of my cats, and they'll just lay there. It's Daddy Kitty. Daddy Kitty is never, he never gets hissed at, he never gets anything. Okay, so some guy didn't stand for the national anthem at a ballpark, and the guy behind him smacked the shit out of him. Oh, yes. Oh, I need to laugh. Chicago Cubs fan slaps younger fan for not standing during national anthem in a viral video, who says patriotism is dead in this country. Well, not me. America's 250th birthday has had plenty of moments where citizens have shown their country some love. But on Sunday afternoon, one patriot got a little too physical. Before the Chicago Cubs and Minnesota Twins game, as the Jersey girls were belting out the performance of the Star Spangled Banner. Shut up, you autoplay bitch. Fans rose to their feet, as is customary during the singing of the national anthem. As nearly everyone in attendance stood and removed whatever headgear they were wearing, one fan remained seated, which didn't sit well with the man sitting directly behind him, who decided to take matters into his own hand. He says, "Stand up. You can't hear." You can hear the older fan say to the younger fan, "Stand up." And then he says something else inaudible, and then he hauls off and smacks the kid right across the back of the head. That must have worked, because the youngster fan stood at attention for the rest of the performance. And the older fan, to his credit, could be heard thanking the young man after he stands up. After telling him, of course, to shut up. I've got the video. Let me get it set up over here. Give me a second. All right, guys, here it is. Sorry, my brain's a fog. Okay, here we go. He stood, didn't he? How disrespectful. Look at that. That's a full stadium for baseball. I didn't think anybody watched baseball anymore. Everybody sings this song a cappella, and I wish they wouldn't. There you go, guys. Stand up or get smacked. I like that. That's a good policy. What kind of asshole doesn't stand for the national anthem? Probably some kind of commie.
What are these kids being taught in school now? They hate our country. Why? What are they being taught? Yeah, I'm a little surprised that the guy didn't press charges. Of course, it wasn't witnessed. It would have just been a ticket anyway. It'd have been a, depending on the state, it would have been a private person's arrest, or it would have been a state's attorney's referral. But regardless, it would not have been a physical arrest either way. Yeah, spoiled ass people. You're absolutely right. You know what? That really bugs me. Spoiled ass people, because these people will sit there and tell you, I'm not standing for the national anthem because my country sucks and I don't believe. It's like, you asshole, do you know how lucky you are? You were born in the best country in the world. The best country in the world. At the best time of the world to ever be born. And you're here and you're watching a baseball game in the best country in the world, and you can't even stand for the national anthem, you prick. You unmitigated prick. All right, we're getting some pretty nasty weather here, pushing just south of Nashville. We just had a severe thunderstorm watch pop up for this area. It goes from Jackson, Lexington, all the way east past Murfreesboro, and it's affecting most of central Tennessee. The closer you get to the mountains, it's not near as strong. Most of the stronger stuff is over in central Tennessee and just past south of Nashville. And we do have a flash flood warning up here right now in orange up here. That's a flash flood warning right now for rising water. And then all of these other ones, these are all the yellow ones, they're flash flood warnings as well. What makes this one different? This one is a flash flood warning observed considerable. This one is a much higher alert than these yellow ones. Okay, guys, we still say the Pledge of Allegiance here in the in Florida. Yeah, I don't know if you guys realize it right here in Lee County, Florida, where I'm at, where my studio is here, and where I've grown up and lived my entire life. They were trying to get rid of it here at one time. We took back our schools. We have nonpartisan races, meaning that when you run, it's a free-for-all, and you don't have to you're not supposed to tell me what party you're in. Well, that's bullshit. I want to know what party you're in. I want to know if you're some kind of scumbag Democrat or some kind of piece of shit progressive. I want to know that before I elect you to the school board. So now what we've got is starting about 4 years ago, we just, you know what caused it down here? Common Core. You guys remember Common Core? That's what started this whole thing. Was conservatives, like this one guy I really like, Armored Persons. Yeah, what a name, right? Armored Persons. He got on the school board. He's a conservative, a big conservative. And these guys are getting on the school board by calling out these liberals for what they are and saying, look, you can't say you're a Republican running for school board, but you sure to hell can't say you're a libertarian, or you can say you're conservative, or you know, whatever. And these guys are making it clear. And so down here, over the course of the last 6 years, starting with Common Core, then DEI, what happened down here was people started realizing, oh my God, all these school board members, all these women that we've got on our school board here, all these middle-aged women that are on our school board, they're all a bunch of hard-leaning leftists. They're all a bunch of socialist pricks. And all they're doing up there is keeping the DEI going. All they're doing up there is keeping the Common Core coming. All they're doing up there is keeping the race baiting alive and well in our classrooms. And they're keeping the indoctrination up. And we realized here, we got to do something about this. We got to do something about this. And so what we did was we had a bunch of people run as conservatives. And they let everybody know, I'm conservative. Here's my voting record. Here's where I've been. Here's what I've done. I'm conservative. I want to do this. And, you know, the last liberal on our school board, we have a 7 or 9 person school board. The last liberal on our school board is being challenged right now. And literally by November, I do believe we will have an entire school board that's conservative. I don't think that's ever happened before. It took us 6 years to get all these liberals out of our school board. Yeah, there's a lot of closet leftists or rhinos. Oh boy. Oh. All right, here's the other area up here. This also getting a mesoscale discussion for severe thunderstorms. Basically like a thunderstorm watch up here for this area. We've been kind of watching this through the night, but areas from Lake Caroline and Bowling Green all the way off the coast up here by Cape May is all a big line of thunderstorms running through there. And then we still have some stuff going on up here. We've got an observed considerable flash flood. You okay? What you want, Dad? What you want to do? And so all of these are flood warnings up here, all different kinds of flood warnings. And of course, the big one right here, this is a